3 ways how you can benefit from this entire Ordinals, BRC-20 and ERC-20 and whatever meme coin craziness in the crypto markets. Hey and welcome. My name is Julian, co-founder and CEO of Cake DeFi. A question that I get a lot personally, not only from users on the community, but also internally here in the company. We have close to 180 employees, and obviously people see these Ordinals and BRC-20 and whatever, Ordi token and Pepe token flying around, and people really get, kind of some FOMO, and they're like, okay, how can I invest? How can I benefit? First and foremost, obviously, the more direct you invest, the more volatility you have, the more upside you have, but the easier it is to lose everything. There's a lot of rug pulls right now. There's a lot of craziness in there. So when I walk this through, always kind of keep this a bit in mind. Option 1, it's an option that I tried personally. I put a little bit of money into this. I know some people in the company have tried this. I know some community members are doing this. Obviously, this is what's going on social media, and that is investing into all these tokens directly. This, in my opinion, is super, super risky. Now, obviously, you can be lucky and you can kind of get a bit of the trend. It's not something I would personally recommend. It's not something I personally do. Again, I just wanted to try it out a bit. I know some of the exchanges have listed those tokens. To me, that's really more like playing the lottery, going gambling. Sure, you may get lucky, but a bit on the trickier aspect. So not something I'm doing, not something the company's doing. Whether you do this or not, just be aware. You're probably going to lose it all. So just be really, really cautious on this. Option 2 is actually not so much of a crypto investment. This is more almost like a startup VC investment. It is, you really pick out the great kind of projects, wallets, you pick out decentralized exchanges that do this, and you invest in the infrastructure there. I tell you already, this is a bit harder for you as an individual. In our VC fund that we have as a group, we invested $1 million in an Ordinals project, also BRC-20. There's a decentralized marketplace and so on. All of this is getting launched right now at the Ordinals conference in Miami. If you can do this, if you have the possibilities of this, I think this is an interesting approach, and it's probably a very aggressive approach that's still going to give you a lot of the upside. So that is, but obviously very little to do with actual crypto investment. That's like investing in companies, investing in startups. As always, startup investments, company investments, they bear a lot of risk, many times illiquid. So yeah, you may lose it all. So if you have the opportunity to do this, just be aware of the risks, be aware of what you're getting into. But obviously, if you want to get into Ordinals, BRC-20, and you don't want to have to pick the individual Ordinals, investing in the infrastructure many times can be the most interesting. It's something, as I've mentioned, we have done with our VC fund, and we're going to keep looking out for great projects that are building infrastructure in the entire space. Option number 3, it's also something I'm doing, and this is, in my opinion, the safest route with the biggest upside, and that is investing in the underlying blockchains. Now, for me personally, I've picked out 3 for myself, but obviously you can pick out your own, and the way you invest into those coins is really up to you as well. For example, like that is a split that I'm personally using. You can use a split that may be different. I have used a 40% Bitcoin allocation for this, a 40% Ethereum allocation for this, a 20% DeFi chain allocation for this. Let me quickly explain. Obviously, I really think Bitcoin could benefit from the Ordinals BRC-20 craziness. I think this is going to sustain, maybe not in the same form as we see right now, but I think there's going to be some long-term additional utility via the gas fees, the actual fees on Bitcoin. So this can really kind of help and drive that forward. So that's my Bitcoin allocation, the Ethereum allocation, just because I really think a lot of the meme coin and kind of hype there on Ethereum will always be there. And for me, DeFi chain, especially because of Meta chain that's being launched later in the quarter, which is really there to build for Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's really nice to kind of lay in there and be this nice little triangle. Small allocation because risk-reward ratio on DeFi chain, obviously higher risk, higher reward. Now, you may drop Bitcoin and say, I'm not going to invest in this, I'm going to invest in other coins. You may drop Ethereum and invest in other coins. You may drop DeFi chain and you invest in other coins. Maybe you have different allocations. But I think the ground principle stays the same. Whatever coin you pick there, what chain you pick there, at the end, you have to bet on the chain surviving, being sustainable, and benefiting from this. And that's a bit of the allocation I have there. Last but not least, a lot of people talking about that this is not sustainable. As mentioned, I actually do think it is. Maybe not in this meme coin form, but there are a lot of ideas on things that you could actually store that can actually be used. And I think going forward, we're going to see a lot of innovation when it comes to that. So I am really, really bullish on this concept of on-chain storage of this data that's not only financial data, and otherwise we wouldn't have invested $1 million in a project there. So yeah, that's it. Let me know, which options are you using? Are you investing in the meme coins directly? Which ones? Let me know which coin is going to give you the next 100x there. Would be interesting. Let me know in the comments. Have you done any of the VC investments? Are you investing into any of the blockchains that gonna run those coins on top? Would be interesting to hear. And obviously, if you want to invest in crypto, you want to get cash flow in crypto, check out our company, cakedefi.com. Sign up. Let us pay you on your holdings. And with that, see you next time. Yours truly, Julian.